26 for life. Joining us live in the newsroom is our panel led by our senior legal analyst Chris Tritico, our news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So what do you think about this? Could there really be a sneaky dome deal going on?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time someone in government didn't tell us the whole truth, would it? So could there be? Yes. But let me back up for a minute. These agencies have, Wayne Dolcefino sent a public information request pursuant to Texas law, and the law says the public agency can ask the Attorney General for an opinion as to whether or not they have to turn the documents requested over. And so nothing nefarious has happened here nothing at all has happened here other than the government saying, do we have to give him this or not? The Attorney General will say yes or no, and then we'll get to see whatever they say, Mustafa Tamiz. I mean, I don't see anything here other than a government saying, I don't know if I have to give you this.
It's hard for me to imagine like why this isn't turned into a conversation. When somebody has just said, made an accusation, made it public, and therefore now it's a conversation. This whole Astrodome deal, from the beginning, the judge has been somewhat transparent, and that's what people have criticized him for, that every time he comes to the public and starts talking about what to do with the Astrodome, that there's not a plan, we don't understand what the plan is. And so they've been rolling things out, step by step, and it's been as transparent as a deal can be. So I'm somewhat surprised that we're having this conversation, and it would make no sense in this town for some large renovation like this to happen without a conversation with Houston First that runs so many big entities in our town. Well,
and also without a deal of this size, without public money being involved on a public building. And while Ed Emmett has said on this latest deal that he plans on doing it without any public money, every deal leading up to this latest one involved public money.
I agree with Mustafa. The judge, I've seen him speak quite a few times the last couple of months. He does talk about the Astrodome. He does say public money will be used. It's not public. We're just not going to use bonds. And so the public will not have to vote on it.
Maybe 30 billion?
But public dollars will be used. But he is saying that they are working on a plan. There's not a specific plan yet to unroll or to unveil. And so, yes, the judge talks about the Astrodome every time he gets a chance. And he says we're thinking of a public-private partnership type of deal, but there's nothing specific to actually unveil at this point.
And isn't it the lack of specifics that causes people to ask Wayne Dolcefino to investigate?
Well, we don't know who's asked Mr. Dolcefino to investigate. He's functioning as a private consultant, not as a journalist. So, I'm baffled by this whole conundrum because it just seems like someone maybe didn't like some kind of a potential deal, and this is somewhat of a kind of shot in the dark to try to kill something that actually might not even exist.
Kill something that hadn't happened yet.
Right.
Let's go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Oh, there was kind of a war of words playing out on social media between our reporter who is on this story, Randy Wallace, and Joe Steinbaker, who is the spokesperson for Ed Emmett's office. I'm going to try to get our tweets pulled up here. Randy Wallace, basically teasing his story the other night, says that this consultant claims city and county agencies are secretly spending tax dollars to renovate the Astrodome. And then Ed Emmett's spokesperson says completely lazy and one-sided story, only one side interviewed and some exclusive. It was a news release. And then Randy responded, hey, I don't remember you offering Emmett up for an interview. Your statement was there. Why all the whining and crying? So clearly there's something going on, you know.
Well, there certainly is something happening, whether or not it's Ed Emmett's people saying, look, you didn't get the story right, or there's something deeper involved there. Only time will tell, Jackie, where that's going to go. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if there was going to be some public money thrown into this, even if some multi-billion-dollar company comes in to renovate the dome.
Well, he's been clear. It is a public-private partnership. It just won't be public bonds. So we won't have an opportunity to vote on it. And I think what's really going on is when we voted on it last time, and there was a specific plan that was placed on the ballot, it narrowly was defeated. Everybody thought, oh, then that means the Astrodome is going to go away. Guess what? Fast forward a couple of years later, it's still here, and now we're talking about another plan. So I think that's really what the underlying controversy is. And the judge said it best. No matter what he does, he's always going to be known as the man who wants to save the Astrodome, because he's the one who's always coming before the different venues saying this is now what we're going to do. And at the ending of the day, it's either $78 million to demolish it or versus $171,000 to keep it up right now. And
to upkeep it yearly, you mean?
Upkeep it yearly.
Yeah.
So now that he's saying we're trying to make that into a plan.
She makes a valid point. The voters voted it down, and everyone but Ed Emmett said, I guess that's the end of the dome.
I want to explain one point. If we tear it down and $70 million or some, anywhere in that size is used to use the money, because demolishing isn't free, right? You don't just go there, erase it like on a chalkboard.
Right.
You've got to demolish something. It's going to cost tens of millions of dollars to do it. Where does that money come from? It comes from the public, right? So there's this absurd notion that just because we voted it down, now it automatically disappears without any cost. That's just silly.
All right, so we're going to be back in a few minutes. We don't know what's going to happen with the dome, but I think we can all agree here on the Roundup panel, just do something.